Good morning and welcome back to Joe's Stunner Boxing. A lot of you may be aware that Paulie Malagnaggi several weeks ago posted a video on his PaulieTV channel saying that Turki Alalshikh is not exactly Snow White, quelle surprise. And he was citing a Guardian article from, I think, 2022 or 3. And I made a sort of video along the same lines. I listened to Paulie's video, read the article, and I think Bob from Canada Boxing, he did a video, and then myself, Lee from Inside the Distance, and Bob, we all got together and had a little half-hour podcast thing, and that was one of the subjects we touched upon. But a lot of people in the comments section of the video I made were saying, well, yeah, you know, what did you expect? It's Saudi Arabia, it's basically a fascist theocracy. What did you expect? Turki Alalshikh, anyone who thinks he's, you know, the sweet little fellow that he tries to come across as is delusional or extremely naive. All of the above is true. But Paulie actually did his own follow-up video. I think he released it yesterday being the 7th of April, 2025. And he was referring to an article, got the old magic tablet here, on a website called Together for Justice, which I assume is, you know, what it does. It does what it says on the tin, Together for Justice. They sort of try and highlight things that are going on in the less desirable parts of the world. Saudi Arabia part of the world being definitely something that is extremely questionable, shall we say, morally, in terms of human rights. Don't believe me. As I said before, Human Rights Watch, Save the Children's a good one you go to, read some of their articles, Amnesty International, very much so. Read these articles about Saudi Arabia if you don't believe me. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, well, you're from Britain, you're from the West is terrible. Yeah, the West is, there's plenty wrong with the West, Jesus Christ, especially nowadays with this couple of lunatics in charge. But compared to Saudi Arabia, we're living in the enlightened age, all right, and certain other countries as well. But I want to read this article to you rather than try and explain it, because it's easier if I do that. So it says, the Saudi judiciary still issues politicized retaliatory rulings against anyone who criticizes an official in the ruling regime, even over a football-related post on social media. Well-confirmed sources stated that Ahmed Mohamed Omar, an Egyptian national, was sentenced to 19 years in prison by a Saudi court for a tweet he posted years ago criticizing Turki Alalshikh, the head of the Saudi Entertainment Authority and a close advisor to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salim, or MBS as he's known, to give him his gangster rap name. The incident dates back to 2019 when Ahmed Mohamed Omar tweeted about his frustration with Turki Alalshikh's positions on the Egyptian Al Ahly club. Little did he know that this tweet would lead to his arrest in 2021 after arriving in Saudi Arabia to work as an engraver. After arriving in Saudi Arabia in 2021, Ahmed Omar did not break any laws while he was there. However, after 9 months, the Saudi police detained him and took him to an undisclosed location without telling his roommates about his charge. His family, on the other hand, was notified by his colleagues and made vain attempts to locate any information regarding their son. I guess they mean his parents rather than his specific family. For a year and a half, there was no news about his detention condition or charge until the security services allowed him to make a 5-minute phone call from the Qasim prison. So 18 months in, he was allowed a 5-minute phone call. No lawyers, nothing like that. Nothing as crude as having a lawyer. No. If you make laws up as you go along, you don't need a lawyer, do you? Ahmed's family was unable to hire an attorney to represent him, and he was not allowed to defend himself until the unexpected ruling earlier this year. The ruling was blatantly unjust and unfair, and it disregarded all requirements for a fair trial. It is noteworthy that many victims of Turki Alalshikh, or those who opposed his policies and criticised him on social media, are imprisoned in Saudi Arabia. So this is one example of many. Okay, as you will know, again, if you've read Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International and all their reports, one such victim is the Saudi tweeter Omar Napoli, who was detained 4 years ago and subjected to forced disappearance. It's an interesting way of putting it. For an extended period of time after publishing critical tweets. This occurred at a time when Turki Alalshikh possesses enormous authority due to his roles at the Entertainment Authority and the Royal Court. This demonstrates the depth of the widespread corruption among Saudi government officials who harass the populace by abusing their power and positions and enjoying total impunity and lack of accountability. Well, again, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, if you've been paying attention to what goes on in that country, the United Arab Emirates, it won't surprise you. We know this. The information is out there. It is there. And all these people that sing the praises of this part of the world, how lovely it is. I go there as a tourist and it's all beautiful and the streets are clean and everything. You don't see what goes on behind the curtain. This is the Wizard of Oz. Peek behind the curtain and what do you see? You see degeneracy, debauchery, absolute hypocrisy. You just see a terrible, terrible system. And Turki Alalshikh, he's basically a gangster by another name. I mean, they all are. They all are, all that lot. It's complete abuse of, well, it's an abuse of power. It's really that simple. And don't be blinded by the glitz, by the, don't, obviously certain people with vested interests, such as, Mr. Warren and Mr. Hearn and all that, they'll run around calling him His Excellency because they stand to make lots of money, which they have done, and the fighters are the same. I mean, who can forget Chris Eubank Jr. when he went on his tirade against Warren and Hearn and the Sowlands? The only person up here who cares about fighters is Turki Alalshikh. Does it occur to you, Chris, that perhaps there's a reason why he's treating fighters well? But Chris is a mercenary. Chris is a money man too. With his fucking £15,000 jacket on and all this bullshit. These trinkets. That somehow a person's self-worth is down to the name on their jacket or the type of shoes they're wearing. All this crap. Get your head out of your arse and breathe some real air about humanity, about the world we live in, about what moves us forward, not as individuals, but as a collective force, because we need collectivism. No man is an island, as they say. No individual can cater for him or herself by simply being detached from everyone else. We are, as the saying goes, all in it together. Wasn't that hijacked, that saying by that damn fool David Cameron? I think it was. Yeah, we're all in it together. Apart from all that European lot, fuck them. Anyway, I'm not going to go into. Well, I've just gone into one, but I'm not going to carry on. Turki Alalshikh, all that glitters is not gold. Be aware of what he is, who he is, and his ilk, the people that surround him, including not just the Saudi people, but the people who jump into bed with him. Dana White, I'm looking at you. Anyway, it is what it is. Comments below. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button if you like the video. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Bye for now.